Hey everyone, it's Jamie here and a very warm welcome to you all to Travel Blog Jamie. Today I want to get serious with you. It was on the 30th of December 2023 that we and nearly 300 other passengers encountered a severe flight delay of 16 hours as a part of our cruise package with P&O Cruises UK and their chosen partner airline Maleth Aero, a Maltese airline mostly unknown to UK residents at the time at least. In this cruise news vlog, I'm going to talk through our journey so far in trying to secure the compensation we and hundreds of other passengers from other severely delayed Maleth Aero flights are rightfully and lawfully owed by the airline, the timeline of the fiasco that has been our delay, communications and quotes from P&O, Maleth and the Civil Aviation Authority, and the recent media attention that has revealed P&O and Maleth are now in an ugly dispute over contractual agreements, which seems to be the reason us customers have been ignored and treated with utter contempt for nearly 6 months with no resolution. So please do share this vlog far and wide to other groups, to the media, so that these huge companies finally do the right thing by its customers, or at the very least stop ignoring us and finally contact us with the next steps. Let's rewind to 8 months ago in the autumn of 2023 when P&O Cruises UK publicised their so-called exciting partnership with Maleth Aero as a part of their winter Caribbean fly cruise season. As someone booked onto one of these fly cruises, I obviously had a vested interest in the flights. I did a lot of research at the time and made a vlog about the announcement, sharing my concerns. Here's a look back at some of the key points I raised all those months ago. This week, Tuesday the 19th of September 2023, I and many other customers received an email from P&O about our fly cruises from the UK to the glorious Caribbean. We have a fly cruise booked over Christmas and ought to be flying from London Gatwick to Barbados with a carrier such as TUI, Virgin Atlantic or British Airways. Certainly a carrier that offers a choice of cabins and experiences with food and at least some drinks included, plus a usual in-flight experience associated with such carriers. You know, back of seat screens, films, TV, music, maps, games, a USB port, standard offerings on long haul to help you have as comfortable a flight and journey as possible. So I was very excited to see an email in my inbox from P&O Cruises all about our flight this Christmas to paradise. Hurrah! It won't be long before you're padding across soft white sand and soaking up the Caribbean sunshine with a refreshing fruit punch in hand. We can't wait to welcome you on board. But before we do, we just wanted to let you know that we are in the final stages of confirming your flight details. You'll be jetting off to the sunshine with our new partner, Maleth Aero, an airline based in Malta. And then I thought, oh, well, that sounds interesting. I wonder how totally awesome this carrier is, although it is strange I haven't ever heard of them. The email continues. We've been working with Maleth to provide a fantastic in-flight service. Okay, so any concerns I may have had are dissipating because I trust P&O to make the best decisions about long-haul transportation, comfort and safety for all its customers. So for you, the email continues. Please note that this aircraft does not have in-flight entertainment, so be sure to bring your smart devices and download films in advance. Wait. And let's just rewind. A fantastic in-flight service without an in-flight service. What? And no mention of whether food and drink would be included. What if customers had purchased premium seats or extra legroom? Something seemed very off to me about this email. Not to mention, we paid for a carrier with the basic facilities and we're now going to get far less, and no mention of how this would be rectified. Unfortunately, an email like this is going to cause mayhem And it really did. Facebook, forums, X, Instagram, and so on were flooded with unhappy people. And the worst thing here is that P&O could have easily avoided this. It's a careless email that was always going to anger people and raise more questions than it could answer. And sadly, Maleth has also been involved in some controversy which has not gone unnoticed to those people who will soon be travelling with them. Basically a marketing disaster, I'm afraid to say, as much as I usually really enjoy my P&O cruises. It's also worth mentioning that P&O contracted the highest density of the Maleth aircraft, meaning more seats, more passengers, less space and comfort. The move to use Maleth was handled poorly by the P&O press team and caused uproar amongst many passengers who realised they'd be flying on these aircraft lacking the basics expected of a long-haul flight, especially in comparison to those customers flying on other well-known airlines. It was made worse by P&O telling us customers that the experience would be one of high quality and in keeping with those flying with other airlines. P&O management clearly were fabricating this, and I'd be surprised if the likes of Paul Ludlow, President of Carnival UK and President of P&O Cruises UK, or indeed the senior staff at P&O flew long haul with Maleth to test the product. After all was said and done, I still tried to keep an open mind and was happy to judge our flight on that experience alone, pushing my concerns to the side. And so I filmed and produced a vlog detailing our experience of flying with Maleth Aero from London to Barbados, ready to join the cruise ship P&O Avia for our Christmas cruise and holiday. Here are some of the key points raised in my review of that flight. Oh, what is that on my head? Alright, well, one of the cabin crews just come and said hello. My reputation precedes me. We're getting vlog bombed, I call this. Hello. Hello. Here's our entertainment on the wall. Fabulous, lots to read. Matthew's got the aisle seat, he's got a bit more legroom therefore. This is the exit row seat, a little bit cramped for an exit row, I've got to be honest. That's standard legroom over there. You've got your legs underneath, I think. Water on each seat for arrival. Matthew always tests out the headrest to see if it's manoeuvrable. Yeah. What? It's alright? Yeah. Is it holding your little Matthew head in place? Yeah. Lovely. Nearly time. 9-hour flight time. Not too bad for this time of year. Time to fly. No USB ports on this particular plane, so Matthew and I have come prepared with 4 power banks. Oh yes. So here's the front cabin, little peep view. Right, this is the back cabin, so you've got seats for 2 over here. So these seats for 2 are quite good in that the aisle is much bigger than when they move into 3. So it might feel a bit less claustrophobic if you get a seat for 2, if you can get one. And then exit row seats here. Here's the next cabin. And our seat is just there. Hello. The Maleth Aero toilet view. 1 cheek, 2 cheek, rah, rah, rah. You can't get away from that song. Matthew finds this game very, very challenging indeed. It's lunchtime. Vodka. Yes. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Matthew. Lunch has arrived. There's no choice of mains, but what's come out is a beef stroganoff with pasta and vegetables and obligatory bread roll. It's alright actually, good flavour, really like the sun-dried tomato. Nice. Bit worried about this. It's actually much more tender than I thought it was going to be.
Dessert is an apple waffle, of all things. Oh, waffleicious. We were also served an afternoon snack best described as meat in a bun. No doubt about it, we made the most of our flight, but it was certainly one of the most uncomfortable long-haul flights we've ever had.
Fast forward a week later as we readied ourselves to depart the ship in Antigua after a great week and back to London. We had reserved 2 extra legroom seats to make the return overnight journey as comfortable as possible. Unfortunately, it was clear from every aviation site, the London Gatwick Airport website and the Antigua Airport website, that our scheduled flight was absolutely not going to arrive anywhere near when scheduled. In fact, the only company that thought we'd still be taken off that night was P&O. I am baffled as to where they were getting their information from, and they haven't been able to tell us that information either. In fact, it seemed P&O wanted us off their ship and essentially took us to the airport about 7 hours later than scheduled, then left us there all night and morning with minimal facilities and no aircraft. They have still not apologised for this, even though no aircraft was scheduled to arrive or take off at the times they had given us. We and other passengers found this treatment to be abhorrent. Here's a look at how this whole event unfolded at the time, plus the further catalogue of disasters when we eventually boarded the plane. Now Matthew is tracking the flight that is coming over here to collect us, and at the moment it looks like it's about 5 hours delayed. Yet the flight manager on board the ship is claiming to know nothing about this delay. Obviously that would have a massive impact on when we are taken from the ship to the airport, and it impacts how much time you can have ashore as well. So it's a bit annoying to not have any information from P&O at this moment.
Your flight times this evening have been put back.
No surprise.
Flight screens have been...
Alrighty, update from the captain, and very timely as well, given what I said to you just now. So he has at least confirmed our flight and the flight to Manchester. Both of them have been delayed by probably about 5 hours. Therefore, our pickup time has changed to 5:30 from the Headliners Theatre today. Now, what that means is we are now able to come back into our cabins and use our cabins until 4 p.m, which is a godsend, of course. And of course, you can use all the facilities on board as well. You can go ashore, do what you want to. It's great because it means we'll be able to have a proper shower in our cabin before we then disembark, which makes a massive difference for your comfort.
So there's an increasing number of people getting notifications on their phones that our flight's not due to land until late tomorrow afternoon, and they're wondering, as we are, what on earth is going on. But so far, all we keep being told is we're going to be taken to the airport.
I think the main thing here is if they just told people earlier that we wouldn't be flying tonight or until tomorrow, that's one thing. People could then make their arrangements. You know, like we've got pets and a pet sitter, for example, and we're not likely to be able to get a hold of them tonight, and we would need someone to go and look after them tomorrow. That's just one of probably many, many cases of things people need to organise. So as always, just let us know, and then we can sort things out, can't we?
Well, firstly, the flight to now, sadly, with regards to the Gatwick flight, it is with regret I have to inform you that the aircrew have experienced a disturbance during their regulated rest period, and as such, their working hours have had to be put back.
Yeah, they're crew on the flight. Yeah.
This means the Gatwick charter flight is now scheduled to depart from Antigua at about 4:30 tomorrow morning. 4:30 tomorrow morning.
Well, where are you going to put us then?
Guests on that flight are now asked to muster in the Headliners Theatre before 1 o'clock in the morning this evening. In fact, the theatre will be available for you to use from about midnight.
Wow.
And we understand the frustration you will feel.
Known hours ago.
Remains valid for any purchases you wish to make on board
That's
or indeed
naughty.
to get on or off the ship
We
this
shouldn't
evening.
have to make any purchases at the
For the
stage.
evening at such short notice.
Oh, it was known ages ago. It was known hours ago.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Just doesn't have
for
to know
the
hours
remainder of
ago.
guests on board,
Current situation and location update. Well, our Wi-Fi now no longer works, even though we bought a whole week's package, because of complications with the disembarkation, i.e. we should be off the ship now, but we're not. We've just been to reception. There are some very upset people there. Lots of people on our flight who are saying, my internet's not working, I really need Wi-Fi. They can't do anything about it, folks. Nothing. We just can't have access to the internet. It's beyond my understanding, it really is. We're now out on prom deck, on loungers with towels. I'm hoping Matthew will get a little bit of sleep actually, because it will... Honestly, 24 hours without any sleep is not going to work for someone of our age. Right, you need to go to sleep, Matthew Bertram, otherwise you'll be a nightmare. 24 hours without sleep, no. Good night. We're at the aft now, trying to have a little nap. Not happening. Deja vu.
You're best off drinking them here as you can.
Too little,
Really just
too late.
starting from the front rows.
Are we getting off? Are we? At least it's warm and not raining. There you go, every cloud. Welcome to VC Bird International Airport, Antigua. Goodness knows what's going to happen now. Well, we're not up there at all. Very helpful. Ain't a whole lot of stuff going on here, folks. Right, well now we just wait and see what happens. We've got 3 hours and 15 minutes until our flight is due to take off, according to P&O, but we don't trust anything they're saying tonight. So thank you so much for dropping us off so promptly to sit here with no staff and no indication about when the flight is leaving. Thank you for that. Well, the departure board is now showing a time of 5:30 a.m. So officially, P&O have just dropped us off and left us in an airport terminal for the whole night. It's now gone 5 in the morning, so we've been here for 4 hours. Thanks P&O, thanks Maleth. You meat sandwiches. Alright, it's now nearly 6 a.m. Yep, you heard that correctly. We are about to board. So we have a different aircraft and therefore it's open seating. It's just chaos. So we don't get our exit row seat that we paid £90 each for. No doubt we'll be able to claim back, but wow. Total shit show. The whole thing. Entertainment. And to be honest with you, we just want to sleep. And we've now been awake for 24 hours. God, the sun's coming up. This is too much. And now we have a delay. I kid you not. And it's now 6:45.
So we'll take out just a few minutes.
We have to go back to the stand now because of an issue. You couldn't make any of this up, could you? You couldn't. 7:45 and still here. So the technical issue was fixed apparently about 20 minutes ago, and yeah, we're still here. So there are some people now actually getting off the plane. We have no idea what's going on. So they won't tell us what the issue is. They're just saying it's safe, and we have to wait another 30 to 40 minutes. Maleth
P&O, you've got a lot to answer for, you really have. And the delay continues because they now have to find luggage of those passengers who decided they didn't want to stay on the plane. Just hope that the captain, now another 20-25 minutes waiting. I'm at a loss, I really am. It's now 8:30. Finally, that only added about an hour. Great. I spoke too soon. They still need to find more. It's now 9:15. It's now 9:45. So that's a 16-hour delay. We're nearly there. Hallelujah. Bouncy.
Under EU 261 legislation, we were eligible for compensation of £520 per passenger. However, our journey to secure this compensation has been fraught with difficulties, revealing the shortcomings of both the airline's responsiveness and the Civil Aviation Authority's enforcement capabilities. Here is a detailed timeline and analysis of our efforts to obtain justice. January the 1st, 2024. Following the 16-hour delay, we promptly submitted our compensation claim to Maleth Aero, as suggested by the staff on board the Maleth Aero flight and as suggested by P&O. Our email highlighted the excessive delay and included all necessary documentation to support our claim for £520 per passenger. January the 2nd, 2024. Maleth Aero responded to our initial claim in a very timely manner with a brief acknowledgement stating our sincere apologies for the delay and we are aware of our obligations and the claim will be dealt with as soon as possible. January the 25th, 2024. Having received no further communication, we followed up with Maleth Aero asking, please can you confirm when you intend to process claims for the below flight? Unfortunately and unsurprisingly, this inquiry went unanswered. February the 10th, 2024. Frustrated with the lack of response from Maleth Aero, we escalated the issue to the Civil Aviation Authority by filing a formal complaint. The CAA acknowledged receipt of our complaint the same day. February the 23rd, 2024. The CAA informed us they had reached out to Maleth Aero and would update us upon receiving a response. They noted we aim to provide you with our final assessment within 10 weeks. However, our response times are reliant on prompt replies from airlines. Oh dear. March the 27th, 2024. After several weeks of waiting, we contacted the CAA for an update. We assumed correctly that they had not received a response from Maleth Aero. The CAA confirmed our suspicion, stating, we are currently in contact with Maleth Aero. Once we have more information, we will be able to advise everyone who was affected. April the 5th, 2024. We emphasised the straightforward nature of our claim to the CAA, stating the delay was well over the 4 hours on a long-haul flight and compensation is payable under EU 261. There is nothing more to it than that. We sought clarity on what the CAA was doing to resolve the issue. May the 2nd, 2024, the CAA's final response to us. The final email from the CAA was indeed incredibly disheartening. Despite multiple attempts to contact Maleth Aero, the airline had not provided the necessary information to justify an extraordinary circumstances exception. The CAA wrote to us, we have contacted Maleth Aero about your complaint and asked them to reassess it. I regret to inform you that despite a number of attempts, Maleth Aero has not responded to us with the information we need to assess an extraordinary circumstances exception. The CAA admitted their limited power, stating the CAA receives complaints and assists passengers in resolving them under the regulation. However, we do not have the legal power either to force airlines to respond to us or to impose a solution that is binding on an airline. Despite the CAA's view that compensation was payable in our case, they could not enforce this decision. They suggested we consider court action. I quote, "If you do not wish to proceed with your complaint, you will need to decide whether you wish to issue a court claim." Our experience underscores the challenges passengers face when seeking compensation under EU 261 legislation. Maleth Aero's lack of responsiveness and the CAA's limited enforcement capabilities significantly hindered our ability to obtain the compensation we were rightfully owed, and indeed are still owed. The CAA also provided incorrect advice as they suggested going via UK Small Claims Court, but as the airline is not based in England or Wales, this is of course not possible. The airline's failure to process our claim promptly and transparently is evident from their lack of communication and follow-through. Despite acknowledging our claim and their obligations, they did not provide any substantive responses or justifications for the delay. The CAA's involvement, while supportive, ultimately proved totally ineffective. Their inability to compel the airline to respond to or enforce compensation highlights a significant gap in passenger rights protection. And now to the current time, June 2024. You may have seen a number of media outlets and television channels have been listening to groups of very unhappy customers awaiting resolution, and they have finally done some investigating. Lo and behold, both Maleth and P&O responded to the media, which says it all really, doesn't it? They won't communicate with us, the people affected, but once there's a whiff of the media getting involved, they'll start talking. Just an absolute disgrace. And my darlings, talk they did. They sang like canaries because both Maleth and P&O blamed each other for customers not receiving compensation. Let's just let that sink in for a moment. We've been ignored for months. Maleth claimed they were investigating the delays for months. P&O insisted we contact Maleth repeatedly. Yet, here's the eventual truth. Essentially, the two companies are in conflict, and that is why none of us have received compensation lawfully owed. The headlines read, "Delayed passengers owed £500,000 caught up in row between Maleth and P&O Cruises." If only we were each owed £500,000, eh? UK television programme The One Show undertook an investigation and found that 5 Maleth flights were severely delayed in total, triggering compensation claims for about 1,400 passengers under UK law of up to £500 per person. However, it was discovered that Maleth Aero is refusing to pay because it claims that Carnival, which contracted the flights, owes Maleth Aero money for food and drink supplied on board. P&O disputes this claim and has said they are considering legal action to recover monies owed by Maleth. In a statement to the British broadcasting company, the BBC, Maleth claimed it is fully prepared to pay but requires full compensation due from Carnival for the flights in order to do so. They continued, Maleth has not been paid for onboard catering or alcoholic beverage services, among other costs. Just to interject here, on our flight, they allowed passengers to drink as much alcohol as they liked. On other flights, it was limited to a drink with the main meal. I imagine P&O never agreed to passengers having an open bar, so that in itself from Maleth is a grave concern. Maleth claimed that these costs were not included in the contract with Carnival, but Maleth stepped in to cover them to accommodate passengers and minimise the discomfort Carnival customers would have had without these services. Imagine admitting to that as an airline. Maleth went on to say it believes the amount owed by Carnival will cover the compensation claims under UK Regulation 261. I repeat, an open bar on our flight. How have they determined the cost of food and drink? I would be surprised if it is anywhere near accurate. A total disgrace, Maleth. Of course, P&O and Maleth have now severed ties, and P&O will be using other, more reputable airlines for the next Caribbean season. Travel agents and customers alike have complained bitterly about the Maleth experience and service. P&O spoke with a spokesperson from Travel Gossip stating the company was disappointed that despite being legally responsible to do so, Maleth Aero has not paid some guests compensation under Regulation 261 for flight delays experienced by those guests when joining or departing from one of our holidays. The law exists to make airlines responsible and to hold them account for delays or cancellations incurred due to their fault, and therefore Maleth must pay the compensation to guests, and we would encourage them to do so promptly. I mean, it's been nearly 6 months, but you know. Guests who are still waiting for compensation should contact the Civil Aviation Authority, which may be able to offer advice. P&O continued that they were very unhappy with the service provided by Maleth and that it was not up to the standard agreed and certainly not what it would want for their guests. Well, thank you so much for that, P&O. A few observations. Well, firstly, P&O knew exactly what the quality would be like. I knew, and that was just from a quick search online. Are you telling me, P&O, that you did not board any of those planes before signing a contract? P&O also stated in an email to us that there would be no in-flight entertainment back in the autumn. They knew this already. And what about dumping us at an airport for the whole night and morning, knowing no plane was scheduled to take us home at the time you decided on? You went into partnership with an airline that was unsuitable for your guests, and you knew this from the outset. You are not innocent in this. If I were able to determine the above in 30 minutes by doing a quick search online, I am 100% sure you knew this as well, P&O. If not, you need a new team in that particular department, and I'd be delighted to help you. And P&O suggesting we contact the CAA, passing the buck again. We've done all that. We did that in February. The CAA will not do anything, and you know this. So P&O, do you not think you owe it to your customers to offer support knowing the CAA will do nothing? Or are you saying you were not aware? Again, I was aware in February. It all feels very political, game playing, and devoid of care for us, the customers. P&O, you need to put this right. You have seen that those affected will not let this lie. It is all over social media. As for Maleth, their handling of this situation is nothing short of disgusting. You are dragging your reputation lower and lower. Having said this, P&O went into partnership with an airline that could not provide, and that's on them. So, wherever you go, there you are. And we are all caught up in the crossfire right now. As I always say, watch this space. I will keep you up to date. Only time will tell if these giant companies will do the right thing. Thanks as always for watching, and take care. Thank you so much for your support as we head towards 29,000 subscribers. It's unreal. As always, my shout outs today go to my tiers 3, 4 and 5 patrons. And you'll never believe it, you can become a patron by searching patreon.com/travelblogjamie. Come on over to the dark side for some patron-only lives, one-to-ones, Zoom calls, postcards, behind-the-scenes vlogs. It's all happening. And big thanks to Steph, Ryan, the Dudies, Coops and Mark, Melissa and Catherine, Tara, Cindy, Graham and Elaine. Thanks for watching, and don't forget we can follow each other on Facebook, Jamie W. Robbins, and over on X, Threads and Instagram at TravelBlogJamie, and of course right here, right now on YouTube.